All right, and I'll just come back in. The show go from there.
All right. Could you put that right here? So I'm looking down like at the same direction, looking there as this camera.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Oh, it's plugged in.
Yeah. There we go. I'm gonna push it back some. That work?
No, I didn't have to be that far because I was trying to get my foot out of the shot. But you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the same, in basically the same direction as that camera did.
Is that in the shot?
Okay. I just see, I'm looking on a table where the water is a little bit, and that's it.
Okay, as long as you can't see this.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right. I'll try to edit that out later. No, let me not do that. It'll be all right. To y'all viewers.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Edit what? Who's talking about editing?
Because all of this is already in the live.
Oh,
I
yeah?
had to push it, yeah.
Oh,
But
it's not. It's real talk. We get together. I ain't know it was already on it. You know? It's all good. Yeah. All right. Shalom, people. We're in the studio clearly, about to get going. That was Angela. I'm not even really sure what her title would be. I should know, but she's definitely been a blessing for us in this ministry, getting things together. Yeah, just waiting on the green light. See what the Most High gonna do today. Got a couple testimonies. It's a pretty important prayer request. Well, all prayer requests are important, but I said on my Facebook Live, my man Brad had a loss in his family this morning. His uncle and aunt, the president of the General Conference, Allegheny East Conference, I believe, of Seventh-day Adventists. They were killed in a house fire, him and his wife. I believe his son was in there and now fight for his life in the hospital, so keep the Fordham family in prayer. I'm gonna repeat it once we go live, but inshallah already here. Yeah. So we'll be getting going in a second, probably a couple minutes. 1 minute. All right, that's about. And that's a little. I ain't gonna mess with it. Well, that can be tightened up.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Shalom. What's happening? This is Real Talk 101, The Devil Exposed. I'm your host for this broadcast, Orlando Boyd. My man Brad is not in the studio today. We got some pretty disturbing news this morning via social media. We start out prayer requests and testimonies. I'm just going to get the prayer request and then get straight to this particular broadcast. But, Elder Henry Fordham and his wife were killed in a house fire this morning. So I'm asking that you keep your Fordham family in your prayers, as well as Brad. That's his aunt, his uncle, and their son, who's in the hospital now, currently fighting for his life as a result of the same fire, I believe. And that just goes to show how I just think it's so unpredictable. This life, 1 minute you're here, literally the next minute you're not. The little girl, little 6-year-old girl I just seen on the news got killed in Southeast, straight bullet. Some other people got injured. They were shooting at the Nationals game that were outside the stadium yesterday. It's madness, and it's not new. And I can't even say it's more rampant than what it was, but it's just more signs that we're living in the end. And I don't know exactly what direction this broadcast is gonna go in. I have an idea of what the Most High would like for me to say. But before I get any testimonies, I'm gonna just open up a prayer. We're gonna go from there. Most High Yah, thank you for this opportunity to minister, to speak a word to those who have a desire to hear and know more about you, even those who just looking to have something to criticize. I pray and ask that you allow them to attempt to criticize the truth. That way it may open them up to receive it. I ask that you be with the Fordham family, as well as the Brooks Trammell family, because I know Elder Fordham and Sister Fordham was Brad uncle. Be with their son that's fight for his life. I mean, comfort them. I'm sure it comes as a shock. But we believe and we know you're in control. Nothing happens without you knowing it. So it may have caught the family and the friends and the neighbors by surprise, but it didn't catch you by surprise. So I'm asking that you send angels that excel in strength to comfort them, to be with them during this time of bereavement and grief. Be with Brad as he's not in the studio, whatever he may be doing. Allow your Ruach, Father, to be present with me. May the words I speak be from you. Thank you for the testimony that you gave me this past week, and blessings that you gave me. And I pray that as somebody hears something that will change their life, change their thinking, change their outlook on things. This is my prayer in Yahushua's name. Amen. All right, so I'm gonna get to the testimony. I'm gonna start out with the testimony. Monday, got a phone call from my sister Angela. Well, not a phone call, a text. She texted myself and Brad. Actually, last week's program, stemming, we coming from the perspective of it is well with my soul, and in all things, we're giving thanks, right? This week, after the text that came in from Angela, she had misplaced her SIM card that had her photos on it. From a photo shoot she had done. She's like, man, I may have to refund some money. Come to find out she did. She disclosed that amount. All praise the Most High. He allowed her to have the funds, or that the funds were available there for her to refund these individuals their money. But her week started out rough. And all I know is that Yah's in control. That's how I stay sane. I just keep in mind that the Most High is in control. He's fully aware of everything that's going on down here. The enemy's constantly trying to throw us off. Constantly trying to confuse us, trying to upset us, get us emotional about whatever. He can get us emotional about whatever, he got us. That's it right there. It's easy to pick up vice. It's easy to fall into some type of mental funk if he can upset our balance. You know what I'm saying? Get us in our feelings about whatever. It used to get me every time. And I went straight to the bottom. Every time. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten a little better with that, all praise the Most High, but she sent that text and my response, was the Most High will work it out. The Most High will work it out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, Most High can work it out. And she had followed up with it, was there like a theme for this week? And I'm like, well, there it is right there. The Most High will work it out. And that's what That's the direction I'm coming from today. The Most High will, capital W, capital I, capital L, capital L, work it, capital I, capital T out. And we did a program in the studio we were in prior to this one on the word it, right? And I guess I could read the definitions. That would be a bad idea necessarily. When you consider what an individual's will is, how you will, the Most High wills things. He wills toward us his good pleasure. He wants us to be successful. Even though we're gonna go through stuff, his will and our will, that's what he wants us to submit to him, our will, our resolve, I guess, our desires. I want to read the actual definition of the word will, just to lay a little foundation. I'm gonna get back to the testimony of what happened in the beginning of this week, but keeping in mind, and it's well with my soul, and I'm gonna give thanks in all things. When you look at the will, this says, and this is the universal reference library that I read my definitions from, the power by which the mind decides upon. That's what the will is. It's the power by which the mind decides upon. So your will is the power for you to make a decision. That's your will. You know, say willpower. It's the power by which the mind decides upon and directs its energies to carry out. Number two, the control over impulses, the will, as a strong will. Number three, choice, desire, determination upon a special end or purpose, as where there's a will, there's a way. Four, determination by an authority. Determination by an authority, hence a command, a decree. Five, a legal document, disposing of one's property at death. The Most High is the ultimate authority, you know, and he has all power. And his desire is to seek and save that which is lost. He wants none of us to perish, but that all will come to repentance, right? So if his will is in our favor, then that it, you know, and that goes for whatever it is. He wants to work it out on our behalf. And here we go with the, let me see, baby, I did carry y'all. P. It. I should remember it, but I don't. It. As the substitute for any noun or noun clause mentioned or understood, as where is my, hold on. It. The neuter pronoun or third person singular as the substitute for any noun or noun clause mentioned or understood as subject of an impersonal verb. It's a substitute for any noun. Noun is a person, place, or thing. So the Most High expresses his power, his ultimate power. He makes a decision to address any person, place, or thing in our life. He works it out. You know what I'm saying? He will work it out. The Most High has determined his unlimited power and authority to fix any person, place, or thing in our life. You know, you can pray people out your life. You can pray people into your life too. You can pray yourself out of situations. You know what I'm saying? You can will yourself out of situations. We allow our will to line up with his will. We say, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, if it's your will, let this happen. You know, or if it's according to your will, Most High willing, this, then the other thing happen. So at the beginning of this week, I'm thinking about that. thinking about Angela's situation, you know. I mean, I don't have no money for real. Well, I ain't got no money, period. Broke for real. But I'm thinking about her situation with that. She do so much for us for free. You know, it'd be nice to be able to at least assist her and having to pay this money. You know, I was kind of hoping she wouldn't have to pay the money because the Most High was going to give her the SIM card back. But as of right now, he hasn't decided to do that. He hasn't willed that thing into existence yet. So I leave, and I was actually going to put a couple dollars in the bank to cover my insurance that's about to come up. I was about to go to the bank around the corner from my house. It may sound like a lot, but I like painting a picture how it happened so you can see how I was guided by the Ruach to a certain place for a certain reason. I went to the bank. I was about to go to the bank around the corner from my house, but I broke my ankle. I'm on crutches. I try to get out my truck as little as possible. I know there's a drive-through at the bank right there by my house, but it was closed. It had 2 cones. And I'm like, man, I was trying to go get some breakfast, and I knew there was another bank in the general area, but I had to get out and go to walk up to the ATM. And I thought about going over there. I'm not sure exactly what the name of the shopping center is, but I know it's like the Wegmans right there. I think I call it Woodmore Shopping Center, you know, Costco and all these different little new stores and everything. So I ride up in there, and I just happen to see this red structure. You know, it's typical, you know, it's Bank of America's ATMs are generally red. So it's a drive-up ATM right there. Didn't know. You know, so I'm like, okay, bet. Well, there go to the ATM right there. I'm gonna get my breakfast right over here. So when I pull up, you know, this guy was in the vehicle in front of me, finishing up his transaction, taking his money and leaving. You know, I can't, my truck sits up so high, I can't reach out and like press the button for my car. So I had to open the door. Open my door, I look down, and the camera probably can't see this. Y'all can see this. You know what I'm saying? It's stamps. You know, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 8 stamps, right? Little book of stamps folded up. No, good stamps. I think my father, Jimmy, he always like, man, yo, son, you got a stamp, you always writing somebody or, you know, mailing something. Or even myself, I might need some stamps. I'm like, okay, that's a blessing. I see some stamps. So I pick it up, and there's a card inside of it, right? There's a card inside the stamps. And on the card, it says restorative questions, right? International Institute for Restorative Practices. That's what's on this card. Restorative questions. And on one side is to respond to challenging behaviors. On the other side, it says to help those harmed by others' actions, right? And it's about 8 or 9 questions. Now, I'm gonna read these questions, right? And through the Ruach, we're gonna dance around and see what the Most High do, right? Because these are some interesting questions, and they're restorative questions. Now, this was Monday. I didn't set out on any type of mission except to go to the bank, you know, and I'll finish. There's a little bit more because there was also something inside of this card that was inside of the book of stamps. I'm gonna read these questions, right? And as I'm reading the questions, ask them to yourself, right? Ask them to yourself and see what happens. I've asked myself these questions, believe it or not, before. First question is what happened? Restorative questions. They say the first step to recover is admitting you got a problem. Recognizing you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? What happened? That's the first question. To respond to challenging behaviors. What happened? If you want to take it, make it spiritual, what happened in the beginning, right? The earliest dysfunction that we see in the 66 is Eve and her interaction with the serpent, right? To leave her husband's side, find herself interacting with this being, and then her and her husband disobey the Most High. When actually it took place before that. You know what I'm saying? And they'll talk about it, in the scripture says this, but in the very beginning, the first thing that we see that happen is the situation of Eve, even though the 66 discusses what took place. There was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the devil and his angels, and the devil and his angels prevailed. That it was kicked out. But even before that, right? If you read in it's mentioned in Enoch, it's mentioned in, I believe, Jasher, I believe it's mentioned in Bartholomew, when he asked the enemy, you know what I'm saying, what his problem is. He tells Eve and Adam that in the book of Adam and Eve, but I'm gonna put it in my words. When the Most High made Adam, he made Adam in his image and in his likeness. And Yahweh himself worshiped Adam first, right? Now, whether that means he got down on his knees and bowed to him, whether he burned incense to him, I don't know what that looked like. But Yahweh himself, the Father, Elohim, worshiped Adam first. And then it was decreed that everyone else would worship the image of Yah. You know what I'm saying? No other image, no other likeness has any relevance like the Son of the Most High. We as men, when we make babies, we proud when our son come out looking like us. So my daughters come out looking like us too, but that's our image. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about the image of the Father, the only begotten, and Hashatan or Lucifer or Saturnael or Satan, whatever you want to call him, he wouldn't worship him. He said, "Man, I'm fire of fire." You know what I'm saying? Or fire and ice, or whatever you refer to yourself as. Like, man, what I look like worshiping a lump of clay. I was like, nah, that's beneath me. He wouldn't do it. He went as far as to give Adam the beef for him being kicked out. Right? It's your fault that I was hurled from my position in heaven. When actually, that's that pass the blame game that he was tend to do, like passing the buck, making it somebody else's fault. So what happened first? I believe the first thing that happened was Yahweh's feelings got hurt because he created this perfect image, yet one of his creations didn't feel like he had to follow suit. That probably brought about some anger, some repentance, but I'm pretty sure it hurt his feelings. It even hurt Hashatan's feelings. Why should you require me to bow to that? If anything, that thing should be bowing to me. I'm just trying to understand, what the mindset could have been at the time. That's what's been happening down through human history. We hurt each other. Hurt people hurt people. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're real good at hurting each other. Try to help. It's like helping and doing good requires effort. It don't take nothing to cuss somebody out. You know what I'm saying? Words just flow. Or to hurt somebody, so it's naturally innocent. My personal, what happened with me, and I think back, I can think back pretty far. A lot happened. There's one thing I can pinpoint that made me bitter as a person, but I'm sure it saved my life. And that's when my mother moved us from Columbia to Essex County, Virginia. We were living in Columbia, Maryland. I wanted to play football for the Wild Lake Wildcats. Had been waiting 3 years in middle school to just suit up. She moved us. Boom. Yeah, the school we went to, Essex had a football team. I didn't want to play for them. We got pushed smack in the middle of the country. Couldn't go nowhere without a car. Nobody around us. You talking about 3 dudes, or really 4. My little brother, my sister, who used to moving around however we want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm 14, but I could walk anywhere in Columbia I wanted to. Wouldn't really get on no bus out there, moving through the city. We were riding the buses when we was kids. But now you take these people, you stick them in the spot, boom, can't do nothing. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? I became bitter. And I didn't really realize that about myself till maybe a couple years ago, just thinking about stuff. That's really what pissed me off with life. Number one, I wasn't able to play football for the Wildcats. 2, I got moved away from where all my friends was at. But had that not happened, as I said, it saved our lives as well. We were coming of age. My brother was driving. You know, my middle brother. You know, we all teenagers, moving, we doing this, that, and the other thing, getting in trouble up there. It's calling us a gang and all this other stuff. Anyway, us in the neighborhood we was with, moving back and forth from uptown, getting into different stuff. It would have been bad. It would have been all bad, you know. But my mother had moved there because my grandfather got paralyzed, and that's a midway point between Virginia, between Richmond and DC. So the Most High placed her there strategically. You know what I'm saying? We didn't understand it at the time, but I'm appreciative of that now. You know what I'm saying? As far as the question of what happened. Ask yourself what happened in your life. You know what I'm saying? We see where it started in the beginning, and it's trickled down through history to the present. What happened with the children of Israel? Disobedience. You know, what happened with Abraham? But what happened with Abraham was he believed the Most High. His faith, it ain't always negative. His faith, but something happened. I believe if we take the time to consider this, we actually can change our situation. We can will something different, or the Most High wills that something different happens. Second question, what were you thinking of at the time? What was I thinking of at the time? I wonder what the enemy was thinking of at the time. He disobeyed the Creator, right? Sticking with what happened and starting there. What was he thinking about? I'm like, Joe, he brought you forth, created you, however he chose to do that. He was a covenant cherub. You saw all this other stuff happen. You saw what this being is capable of doing. And you had the balls to tell him, nah, I'm not doing that. That's mind blowing. You set yourself in opposition of the Creator. Your end result is, that's why he's so mad at us now. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's so pissed off at us now, because we still maintain, even though we're a lot smaller in stature, and you know, our skin tone may not be the best with all this crap they give us, but we are in the image of the Most High. We are made in His image. The enemy's not. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why he pissed off at us. But what was I thinking at the time? I basically told you when my situation, you know, my personal situation, when I got moved, I was mad. I was mad. That's what I thought. That's what my thinking was at the time. I don't want to be down here. I wanted to move back up there with one of my men in Columbia, you know, just to go to school. I just wanted to play football. That's all I wanted to do, was hit somebody and see if I could be tackled. I thought I was unstoppable, invincible, you know. And that stuck with me until I was 41, until I broke my ankle. Most I was like, nah, you can be, you're not invincible. You know what I'm saying? You can't be set down. I'm typically used to get set down in jail to think, not literally set down because I can't walk. You know what I'm saying? It's never, I mean, I'm stumped my toe, sprained this, that, and the other, but broke. Anyway, yeah, that's what my thinking was, man. I was mad. I didn't want to be down there. I did not want to be down there. Third question, what have you thought about since? Now, if anybody's trying to follow me, right, and you asking yourself, and what happened with me? And what were you thinking about at the time it happened? Now, I could go a different route and pick some more sensitive things to consider, but you do that on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at yourself and ask yourself what happened to you. Did something happen to you? Did somebody do something to you? Did you do something to somebody else? Were you taken somewhere? Was somebody brought to you? You know what I'm saying? Because we as human beings, we go through a lot of stuff that we don't really want nobody to know. The Father knows. He knew to give me this card. What happened? What were you thinking about at the time? What have you thought about since? Right? What have I thought about since? We know the enemy has been bent against defacing and misrepresent the Most High since he was kicked out of heaven. Lying, mixing his words up. You shall not surely die. First lie. You know what I'm saying? But with me, what have I been thinking about since is, for real, what if I would not have allowed myself to be so bitter? And I would have taken the time to actually like enjoy high school for what it was, as opposed to just becoming this mad person and portraying this tough image. You know what I'm saying? If I actually would have studied and put my mind to use in different other areas than what I did, which was really just doing nothing but creating vices for myself, habits. Granted, I'm where I'm at now for a reason. You know what I'm saying? The Most High has allowed me an opportunity to really see myself, and good and bad, you know, and it's well with my soul when I'm thanking him. And the fact that I know I'm flawed, I know I'm not perfect, I know I'm not invincible, yet he still uses me. That's mind blowing to me. You know, sometimes people experience things and in the moment, they may not be thinking anything. Some people just go numb. You know, your mind just go blank. It's like you just freeze. And then all you can think about since that thing happened is the fact that you didn't do anything. You didn't say anything. Me and my brother was talking, may have been over this past week, and he reminded me of a situation. This dude uptown, I believe it was a white man. We was little kids. I had to be 4 or 5, 3, 4 or 5, somewhere around there, because we moved from up there when I was like 6 or 7 from Northwest. And as he was talking, I remembered the dude. I remember the situation. I don't remember everything that transpired, but I remember it being a weird situation. I put it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't thought about that since then, but I got my own wild situations that I was placed in young and don't really give it a lot of thought. But when you consider your actions and you're looking for the Most High to rectify things in your past, you got to think about these things. You know, you got to get them as close to squared away as possible. If not with the individual, definitely with the Most High. We already know. You say, "Well, I prayed and asked for forgiveness for that." Yeah. Have you asked for forgiveness for the other person? Have you considered how that might have affected the other person? Or is it just, you know, what have you thought about since? Who has been affected by what you have done? Who has been affected by what you've done? Well, the entire race was affected by what took place in heaven, by what took place in the garden. Now, a whole lot of people, well, no, shoot. A whole lot of people probably been affected by my bitterness. I mean, I've been an asshole for a long time. And regardless of whether it's how I talk to people, how I look at people. And I mean, I'm not saying it because I'm cool with it. I just understand. That's the type of person I am currently. You know, not all the time. I've gotten better. I hope. You know what I'm saying? But that incident that took place with me as a child, well, I should say when I was a teenager, me moving, amongst other things, it really did change my outlook. I was always mad. It's hard to be around somebody and have a good time when they're always mad. You know, I had to drink to loosen up. And then, you know, after drinking, you get into trouble. So who has been affected by what you have done? A lot of people. And in what way? I've hurt a lot of people's feelings, I'm sure. I said a lot of things I can't take back. I've done a lot of things I can't take back in the moment and never really concerned myself with how the other person may feel. Wasn't why? It ain't me. You know what I'm saying? That's that asshole mentality. There's a lot of us that got that. You know, arrogance, pride, and being an ass goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? But it happened. I'm trying to, this is restorative questions. If you can ask yourself these questions in regard to yourself and try to gain an understanding of why you are what you are, why you are the way you are now, looking back over some things, what happened? What were you thinking of at the time? What have you thought about since? Who has been affected by what you have done? And in what way? You got people who entire families, have been affected by an individual's decision making or actions. Do they consider that? Do they think about it? I don't know, but apparently it's time to start considering. It's time to clean the closets out, clean the drawers out. Because like I said last week, the Most High wants to hit the reset button, the master reset button, and things aren't going to magically disappear. We got to address these things. You know what I'm saying? And intelligently consider our actions, others' actions, and give it to the Most High and let it go. And prepare for whatever he's going to do next, which will be the final phase. Last question on this side. What do you think you need to do to make things right? Just say. That's what you got to do now. If you did something to a person and that person, so Ron, I've done a lot of apologizing in my late 30s, leading up to 40, 41. I've apologized a lot. I've reached back out to some people that I wronged in my past and apologize for being an asshole towards them. That's basically what it was. You know what I'm saying? Just wasn't a nice person. That's not fair. Should nobody have to deal with that? You understand what I'm saying? And I don't mean be soft or even with the turn the other cheek concept. Man, sometimes there's a season for everything, but you ain't got to be on the verge of ready to destroy everything all the time. Most High, let him turn it on, let him turn it off. That's what I'm preparing myself to be turned on. Because when he turn it on, you're gonna be the only one that can turn it off. I don't want to jump the gun. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think you need to do to make things right? Play back in your mind. Not for the purpose of dwelling on it or even reliving it, but consider what happened. I find it interesting that when we had a lock-in for my brother, I want to say it was in 16. I want to say it was 2016. But what really blew my mind is to the extent that the young lady Mahala went to get this to organize this lock-in, 3 days of prayer and fasting. I've been praying for my brother. I knew the Most High wasn't gonna let him spend 140 some years locked up for some crap that he really wasn't guilty of, you know what I'm saying? But when Shawty pulled up that transcript and we got to praying, not just for my brother, but for his wife, who was the reason he's locked up, for this other girl who testified against my brothers, for her parents, for other individuals that was involved. We started praying for all those other people as well. I personally believe that's when the Most High shifted the universe, as some people like to believe, in my brother's favor and allowed for President Obama to commute him right before he left office, knocked it down to 20 years. But we had to consider the entire situation and all the players and give all of that to the Most High, laid all that in front of him and left it alone. And Yah fixed it. He worked it out like he knew he was going to. He had to be locked up a certain amount of time to even be considered. That blew my mind as well. That means he was always going to answer the prayers. It just, things had to fall. And it seems like the way I met her, it was just all, but I remember that there's so much stuff. That's the thing. I said everything I said leading up to how I found these stamps, because you look at stuff as random acts. Nah, at least with me, he's always positioning me. He's always doing something, moving me around like a massive hand with a chess piece. He's moving me across the board. As long as I'm paying attention, I see what I should be doing in that moment. Or sometimes, it takes looking back. But here recently, I try to see it in the moment. And I say, thank you, y'all. Thank you for allowing me this experience, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? On the back of this thing is some other questions, 4 other questions. It's to help those harmed by others' actions. See, so the one side was, basically, what did you do? And this would be for the recipient of those actions. And that's the first one is, what did you think when you realized what had happened? Now, to help those harmed by others' actions, you gotta try to think like somebody. What did you think when you realized what had happened? Now, who can know the mind of the Father? Nobody can search his thoughts. But we're told in the New Testament to let this mind be in us that's also in the Mashiach Yahushua. So we gotta learn to think or start rethinking a certain way. That's gonna come with the master reset. He's definitely gonna change, disappear. But like I said, I can imagine his feelings was hurt. I mean, yeah, he's all powerful, all knowing Elohim, creator of heaven and earth, but we're made in his image and his likeness. We got feelings. Think you don't? If your kid, if your child, so you tell your kid to do something, the kid don't do it. See, our first instinct, especially as black, we want to discipline, like pop them, do something like that. But to sit that action, pause that action and just consider how you feel when your child is disobedient or when your child talks back to you or you find your child is talking about you behind your back to your friend. That must have hurt. It hurts. You know what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, what did you think when you realized what had happened? Most people probably don't even really give it any thought. What do you think when you realize what had happened? With my situation, try to make it personal. When I realized, number one, me being taken out of Columbia and being placed in Essex County made me an angry person, made it so I wasn't able to go to the NFL, which I'm pretty sure I would have been able to. When I realized what happened, what I missed out on, I can't say initially I was grateful or thankful because I'd be lying, but it made me start looking at life different. It made me start looking at the fact that, like I said, everything happens for a reason. When I finally realized, when Most High let me put the picture together, like, okay, she moved me for this reason. Even though this happened at the other thing, I avoided all of this as a result. So it's well with my soul now. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? The next question, what impact has this incident had on you and others? Again, there's so many different incidents that I can go back. I just chose one, me being moved from Columbia. There's so many more. And how that impacted, what impact has this incident had on you and others? As far as my siblings, I believe we're still alive because my mother made that move. I don't know that myself and my brothers would still be breathing. I mean, I'm not saying we'd be dead or in jail. I think we'd be dead if she had made that move. With the way we were living and the direction we was going in and what the enemy would have had an opportunity to do, which he wasn't able to do that once she did what she did, put that extra hedge of protection around us, he could definitely try to snatch us. Like that straight bullet killed that little 6-year-old Naya. Man, if you in the mix, the bullets ain't got no names. You know what I'm saying? If shots get fired, his intention is, man, get them out the way, especially them 3. He tried to get us many times when we was young. All praise the Most High, he wasn't allowed to do it. What has been the hardest thing for you? What has been the hardest thing for you? For me, I'm gonna consider Yah in this situation the hardest thing. The hardest thing with him is probably the fact that he's gonna have to destroy part of his creation. There's a portion of the loss that are going to be numbered as the sand of the sea. And I doubt, even though he's a mighty Yah of war, but he doesn't take pleasure in the destruction of the wicked. He hates sin, transgression, but the human being, the person, man, he doesn't want to see anything destroyed. But it's just, once you make a decision, it's like, once you make his mind, once you make your mind, this is how you live and this is what you're going to do. And it's like, F you, yeah, you get what you get on the back end. But as far as what has been the hardest thing for me, knowing I can't get that time back. I can't get my people's they place back in Virginia, they 5 acres. I can't go back and undo a lot of what I did to people down there. You know what I'm saying? I have a son now. I love my son. He was conceived down there, met his mother in school down there. If I wasn't down there, that wouldn't have happened. If my son wasn't born when I was 18, I know for a fact we would be talking right now. And grateful for that. Thankful for that. It redirected my movement, having a son at 18. Didn't know how to be a father, just learning how to do that now. But it stopped me in my tracks and it gave me a different option than what the direction was I was going in. And I know it's been some hard pills for some other jokers to swallow, some other people, looking back and considering just how much you messed up, just how terrible that act was. Like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I let that happen. The enemy, though, he can't wait to get us to beat up on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? To sit and wallow in our mistakes and just constantly think about what you did wrong, as opposed to, did you learn anything from that situation? You know what I'm saying? Would you do it different if you had the opportunity to do it again? Or would you just keep doing the same thing? The last question, what do you think needs to happen to make things right? There's nothing, and I think about this at times, but I know the enemy's fate is sealed. It's fallen angels, their fate is sealed. And again, like I said, the number of the lost is going to be like the sand of the sea. So apparently there are individuals whose fates are sealed, entire nations of people that have moved in opposition to Yah throughout this earth's existence. They're done. You know what I'm saying? You're going to fill up the summer, you're going to get that indignation in that cup. You're going to get that wrath, you're going to get it pulled out on you. I mean, it's just, they got to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But those of us who are still here, what do you think needs to happen? Sometimes it's as easy as apologizing. Sometimes it's as easy as just saying you're sorry and meaning it, acknowledging the fact that you did something wrong to somebody, right? Not just to the Most High. It's easy to get on your knees or stand and pray or whatever, close your eyes and in your mind communicate. Matter of fact, DK put something on I don't know when he posted. I seen that joint today because, like I said, something to the effect of, people want to, what do you say, they disrespect you all loud and out in public. They won't make the, apologize softly and private. So now make the apology just as, boisterous as the disrespect was. Put it out there. Let it be known that when I messed up, hey, that's why we're so transparent on this broadcast. Because number one, we're exposing the enemy. Because we letting y'all know what he did to us, with us, through us, you know what I'm saying? And showing you that it's possible to get from underneath his thumb, you know what I'm saying? And turn to the Most High. If there's anything that can be done, what do you think needs to happen to make things right? 2 things. Forgive the individual and forgive yourself. Then the healing process can begin. Forgive the individual and then forgive yourself. And the actual healing process can begin. right? So inside of this little collection of stamps, inside of these little stamps, like I said, was this card. And inside this card was $100 folded up, a new $100 bill. I didn't think it was real at first, but somebody had to have folded this up and placed it inside this card. Now, why would they have put the card inside the stamps? I don't know. How it got right there on the ground by the ATM machine, I don't know. But what the Most High told me to do with this $100 was give it to Angela, right? Even though she already took care of what she needed to take care of as far as that SIM card, is to just put a little something back in her pocket, as a token of appreciation and nothing else. But he gave it to me to get her. I was like, oh snap, I found $100. I could have put it straight in the bank. He's like, nah, hold on to that. And look, I even went as far as to do this. This is how I know what I'm supposed to do. My another testimony. My brakes went out Friday. Caliber froze up. I already know I need to get my brakes changed, but I thought I had till next week. That's when I was gonna make my appointment. I'm driving, hit the brake, was already grinding, and I heard this pop, it's like this bang sound. And I heard it before my caliber froze up. Brake shoes just dangled in there. My brother came and checked. My brother came. I had help. I had two different people come to help me from Laurel. I'm over here by PG Community College. And I'm just sitting there, I ain't get mad. The police saw me, he came over there. I wasn't worried about none of that. You know what I'm saying? But it could have went worse. It could have went different because it could have went different. You know, my truck had some issues, and if the officer would have wanted to be petty, he could have been petty. All praise the Most High, he wasn't. Another test, though. You know what I'm saying? The blessing came Monday, the middle of the week, it was so, or whatever the case may be. But Monday and Friday, these two incidents took place, and me and the brother Sherman, you know what I'm saying? He came through. He said the Most High told him go help him. He was about to fix dinner. He had to get his daughter. He was about to fix dinner. He said, let me cut the oven off, and I'm heading out. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't even going to call him. I'm thinking to myself like, dang, Joe, I need these groceries. I need these groceries in the house. But I just so happened to pull in the parking lot where all the parking spaces were reserved for staff and somebody else. So there was no free park or a handicap. I didn't have my handicap plaque. So regardless, if I'd have left the truck there, 9 times out of 10 would have got towed. I did not want that, But my brother came through. He was able to take me to go get the brakes and my new rotor. I needed another rotor for that side. And after the brother did what he did, he never really charges me, Sharon. He's, like, give me whatever the Most High puts on your heart to give me. I'm like, man, I appreciate it. Because sometimes I ain't got no money. But sometimes when I got it, I bless him. I tried to give him this. And I didn't tell him anything about what I felt like the Most High had told me in regards to Angela. I tried to get to him. He looked at it and just backed up like, that's not mine. He just came from Laurel to Landover. So he had to go back, pick his daughter up. They had to stop to get her something to eat because he didn't fix dinner. Out there in the heat, even though the sun really wasn't beaming at that point, all praise the Most High. Took him about maybe an ounce and change. And I was like, nah, we good. The Most High told me to do this. So that's when I knew in my mind, I said, well, when I see Angela, and I wasn't expecting to see her today. I don't know why I thought she wasn't going to be in there, but, when I see her, this is hers. This is the Most High told me to get it to her. Could have used it for several different things over the week. I just been holding it. It's still been folded up. It's still been with the card. Still with the stamps. And that would be my testimony for this past week. How the Most High worked it out for me so that I could least help somebody. This is what I told her. This, and I was telling her, sometimes the Most High tell you to do something, you try to doctor it up in your head. Like, man, and I was gonna ask her how much she needed. And if she just said anything up than $100, I was gonna be like, well, that must not be for her. You know what I'm saying? But the number was greater than 100. But hey, man, she might need something. I don't know. She might need gas or something. I don't know. But he told me to give it to her. That's what I'm gonna do. It ain't the first time I felt like the Spirit told me to give somebody something, to do something that seemed random. But I know what I heard. You know what I'm saying? And like my man Brad always say, the Most High, he rock with us the way he rock with us because he know when he tells us to do something, we're gonna listen. And I can appreciate my brother leaving his house, coming down there to help me out. You know what I'm saying? And my brother Sherman, in that situation. And it's amazing to me because you ain't have to. Neither one of them had to, but I know with Sherman, he said the Most High told him, go help Bo. Well, don't worry about that. Go help him. And because of that, because he couldn't receive payment for it, more people need to learn how to develop that type of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Instead of always doing stuff for self or looking to get something out of the situation for doing something. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't know exactly. I knew I wanted to definitely read these questions off this card, get that recorded, get that, put that out there so individuals can see that there's a way to get beyond that mess that happened. You know what I'm saying? It starts with acknowledging the fact that something wrong actually happened, whether it was something happening to you or something you did to somebody else. When you develop that coldness where you have no emotional feeling, you do whatever to whoever, whenever, well, you're destined for that sand, that seed, to like a loss. You know what I'm saying? You ain't really got much to worry about. Look, ride to the wheels fall off, have a ball, live your best life here. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't transitioning if that's your mindset. But any decent human being, man, you recognize when you did something wrong or if somebody did something wrong to you. Most people just deal with it, and especially as a person of color in this country, there's a lot of stuff we just had to deal with. Takes me to this. I seen this movie this morning. I think it's called The Best of Enemies or something like that. Taraji P. Henson and I can't remember the white dude's name was in the joint. But takes place in the South, probably back in the late '60s, early '70s or whatever, or maybe a little earlier. But it was interesting because you see how racism was and is real. These people, these white people, a lot of them were taught hate, right? Hatred towards anybody that ain't white. But it goes deeper than that because even amongst themselves, if you ain't white like them, you could be a nigga, you could be a Jew, or whatever they want, whatever racial slur they want to attach to another race of people, a group of people. If you're not Aryan all the way, you know what I'm saying? You be white, man. They string you up just as quick as they would anybody else. That's an evil. That's a deep rooted evil, a deep rooted ignorant evil. You know what I'm saying? But one dude, the co-star to Taraji, I could appreciate it by the end of the joint. He changed it. I'm gonna just put it like that because if you ain't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you. But there's hope for change, and it ain't gonna be like as far as the opposition goes. Out of 1,000, she might get 10. The rest of them jokers, man, their minds made up. This is the way it's gonna be for them. Yahweh gonna deal with them. We ain't gotta worry about that. And all of us ain't gonna make it either. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's got melanin in their skin ain't the chosen. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's chosen us don't mean we're gonna choose him. That's the sad part. He's made provisions. The door is open. We gotta choose to walk through it. He's not dragging nobody out of their mess. He's saying, come unto me and I'm gonna give you rest. But you gotta come. When you knock on the door, I mean you gotta open the door. You ain't gonna beat the door down. You can huff and puff and blow the whole house down. But you gotta open, we gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do something to aid in our salvation. We can't earn it, it's a free gift. But our part is to allow ourselves to be saved. It's a process. It's a process, especially once you grow to a certain point and you recognize you're a co-laborer in this thing with the Most High. So what I gotta do? First of all, I need you to understand that you've been receiving a lot of bad information. That's where that real true connection comes in, where you can recognize, hey, you know what? This dude making the choice to let go when he let go of in that movie, that's how I felt letting go of Adventism for me. Something I was in my whole life that I prided myself on. You know, I'm not an atheist, and you all know how I believe and what my stance on things is as far as religion or church. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. But I'm not necessarily going to, at this point, I'm not going to stand next to nobody for the purpose of doing whatever. And we're not in agreement. Two can't walk together unless they're in agreement. It's time for the BS to be put to bed. It's to each his own. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. People out here pushing a message I don't agree with. But to each his own. Until you're ready to fully stand on truth. Fully, wholeheartedly stand on thus saith Yahweh. You know, and everybody's not equipped for this particular aspect of this battle. And that's cool. I'm starting to understand that. Read more and more in these apocryphal books. You know, the 12 sons of Jacob, whose name was turned to Israel. Most High gave them a lot of understanding and insight into future events in these last days. You know, anybody familiar with Enoch? You know, he took Enoch all the way down through there. We don't get that. We don't get that in the Holy Bible. A lot has been removed. The Holy Bible is exactly what has been said it is several times. It's a Christian book. It's for Christians. Now, the truth of the matter is, what we don't want to do, what we don't want to consider, what we don't want to even contemplate, is how that mindset got put into our people. How did those traditions and that way of thinking get put into our people? Because Christianity was Roman. We're not Romans. We're not descendants of Romans. We're descendants of Israelites, a Hebrew people. If your people came here by way of the transatlantic slave trade, if you're Nigerian, or if you're from Somalia, if you're from Nicaragua, if you're from any other place, and your ancestors came here post-slavery, like say they migrated over here in the 70s, 80s, you from if you're from the Caribbean, 9 times out of 10, your people's are descendants of slaves anyway. But if you came from somewhere else where you may have experienced poverty, but not oppression. Our people are oppressed in this land. And it's because of disobedience. It's because of them turning their back on the Most High, on their Elohim, the one true Elohim, not all these other pagan deities, which we've embraced. And we now follow as if they're Yah. And he's like, nah, that was never his intention. That's what we messed up. Well, that's why our ancestors messed up. We weren't given a choice. We were born. Well, I was born into this. You know, others have found it. And truth be told, to not know any better, Christianity looks pretty good. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Being kind, where you're supposed to be, you know, be kind and, you know, you're doing for others and not really looking for anything in return. And you know, you're willing to turn the other cheek, give a person a coat off your back. Ain't nothing wrong with none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's the image that was created by way of Christianity that is taking the place of Yahweh's son's true identity and has blinded the masses. Even his own people said it was possible in the last days, man, that deception is going to be so vicious that even the very elect, even the very remnant of Israel will be deceived. And it's happening left and right. All praise the Most High. He's removed that strong delusion from in front of my eyes. But I understand why it's hard for people to transition. The only thing I conclude is it ain't for you. You know, this particular aspect of the warfare. Like I said, I don't know if that has nothing to do with, it's not up to me whether or not an individual makes it or not. You know, I would like to see everybody come to an understanding so we can be on the same page and at least have intelligent dialogue back and forth. But I can't talk to a person who's willing to combat the truth they're being presented with ignorance because they don't know any better. I'm not judging you, I just prefer not to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? You keep that over there amongst yourself and your crew of people that believe like you. We're not in agreement, so we can't walk together. But once we wake up and realize that, if we wake up and realize that, when our people were at their best in this earth's history, they was worshiping the Most High Yah. They were keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, and he was fighting all their battles for them. They had their own land, flowing with milk and honey. And he told them. Moses told them, man, look, man, you're going to lose this because you're going to become disobedient. You're going to start with it. He gave them a warning, and we still fell right into it. He said, I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to bring you back to me. You know, we just can't see through deception. Well, I can. The problem is most people can't see through deception. You know, we harp on the name of the Savior, we harp on the name of the Most High, how they took stuff out of scriptures, how they replaced Yahweh with the Lord. Everybody that reads the Lord, they believe that's God's name. I can't make you see otherwise, but the truth is in the proof, or the proof is in the truth. How you want to look at it? It changed it. Our ancestors died. They chose death over conversion. That's powerful. Now we dying to get converted. I don't understand it now that I can see it. When I couldn't see it, it didn't matter. It didn't make a difference when I couldn't see it. Now that I can see it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I really don't get it. But it's not for me to get it. It's possible to receive restoration. I'm not going to go too much into that, but it is possible to be restored. He said he wants to restore us the years that the locust and the cankerworm have destroyed. He wants to restore us. Now, to restore is to, what does restore mean? What does restore mean? QRS. Let's see what restore means, because in my thoughts, to restore something is to kind of get it back to its original state, if not better. Restore. To restore is to give back or return to the owner anything previously lost or taken. Number two, to reinstate a person in a former office, dignity, or the like. To bring back, three, to bring back a person. To bring back a person to health or a normal condition. Number four, reestablish, put back into existence as to restore order. He wants to return us, restore us to our dignified position under him that our people held at one point in time in Earth's history. It's that simple. Until you can close your eyes to tradition and just listen to the voice of the Most High telling you what He wants from the words that are in these books that we read from, not what the conference wants or what the papacy wants or what any of these little denominations want. They take the word and they make it mean what they want it to mean. They give you all these different versions and translations, water the joint down. So it sounds more pleasing to the image they're trying to create. You know, they want you to look like them. Yahweh wants us to look like Him. There's a difference. You yield if you want to. Again, like I said, all praise to the Most High. He brought me away from that. And you're not gonna get a whole lot more. Not gonna fuss with nobody or try to get on anybody's back about how they believe, what they think. But again, it's a lot of people that mean well, you know, just don't possess an ability to process what I would call now this simple truth. But it opened me up to Psalms 35, right? So we can get a little word before everything's said and done. I'm gonna read this Psalm 35 out of the Tanakh. It says by David, O Yahweh, fight my adversaries, battle those who do battle with me. Take hold of shield and buckler and rise up in my defense and draw the spear and bar the way before my pursuers. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. This is Yahweh speaking. This is David asking Yahweh to do this. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. May they be shamed and disgraced, those who seek my life. Let them retreat and be humiliated, those who plot my harm. May they be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of Yahweh thrusting away. May their way be dark and exceedingly slippery, with the angel of Yahweh pursuing them. For without cause they have hidden for me the snare of their net. Without cause they have dug to kill me. May disaster come upon each of them unawares, and may his own net, which he concealed, ensnare him. May he fall into it in disaster. Then my soul will exalt in Yahweh, rejoice in His salvation. All my limbs will say, Yahweh, who is like you? Deliverer of the poor from one mightier than He. Deliverer of the poor from one mightier than He, of the poor and the destitute from the one who robs him. False witnesses rise up. For that of which I know nothing, they call me to account. False witnesses rise up. For that of which I know nothing, they call me to account. They repay me evil for good, bereavement for my soul. But as for me, when they were ill, my clothing was sackcloth, and I afflicted myself with fasting. May my prayer return unto my own bosom. As for a friend, as for my own brother, I went about like a mother in mourning. I bent over in gloom. But when I limped, they rejoiced and gathered the wretched. But when I limped, they rejoiced and gathered. The wretched gathered against me. I know not why. They tore at me and would not be silenced. With flattery and mockery for the sake of a loaf, they gnashed their teeth at me. O Master, how long will you look on? Rescue my soul from their destruction. Rescue my soul from their destruction, my essence from the young lions. Then I will thank you in a great congregation. Before a mighty throng, I will praise you. Let them not rejoice over me, those who oppose me. for false cause, nor those who hate me without reason. Let them not rejoice over me, those who oppose me for false cause, nor those who hate me without reason wink an eye. For it is not peace that they speak. Rather, against the broken people of the earth, they scheme deceitful matters. They opened their mouths broadly against me. They said, aha, our own eyes have seen his misfortune. You have seen Yahweh. You have seen Yahweh. Do not be mute. O Master, be not far from me. Arouse yourself and awaken to my judgment, my Elohim and the Master to my cause. Judge me according to your righteousness, Yahweh, my Elohim, and let them not rejoice over me. Let them not say in their hearts, aha, our souls. Let them not say, we have swallowed him. May they be ashamed and humiliated together. May they be ashamed and humiliated together, those who are glad over my misfortune. May they be clothed in shame and disgrace, those who lift themselves up haughtily over me. May they sing and joy and be glad, those who desire my vindication. May they sing and joy and be glad, those who desire my vindication. Let them always say, be glorified, Yahweh, who desires the peace of his servant. Then my tongue will express your righteousness, your praise all day long. David's asking Yahweh to recognize where he at. Save him from these people that's out to get him. He sees what's going on. He sees what's happening around us. Like I said, it's not catching him by surprise. It's not catching him off guard. He knows everything. He sees what the Forden family is going through. You see what Naya's family is going through. See, the difficult thing is not asking why. That's the hardest part. Why'd you let this happen? Why did that happen? Why this? It's outside of our pay grade. Just be thankful that you're still here. That's the bottom line. And take the opportunity to tell them thank you and try to, make amends for some of that madness that we've done to ourselves and to others. One thing that came out in that movie, The Best of Enemies, it was a true story, based on a true story. The people became friends. You'll see all that at the end of the joint, but the things, I'm glad I didn't grow up in that time. Wouldn't have been able to be a slave. Yahweh intended, he purposed for, he willed for myself and individuals like me, like my brother, something different. Our position, regardless how anybody views us or looks at us, we're designed different. You certain things you're not gonna do or say to me or at me. I enjoy certain interactions with racist individuals. You know what I'm saying? You look them square in the eyes and you look, man, there's no fear here towards, in regards to anything you're doing the same. People hide behind guns, they hide behind weapons. You remove them guns and the weapons, that's why I guess so many people stay in the gym. They think they're real strong and big. That means nothing. They don't understand the power of the Most High. All that means nothing. It ain't gonna help you when it boils down to it. But the way they mistreat us. And again, I recognize as some it was taught to, some that's just what they are, who they are. It's not as rampant in some places as it is in others, but it's as a result of our ancestors' disobedience. It's a part of our punishment, a curse that was put on our people. And truth be told, as much as that 400 years is up, the curse has been lifted. You see the 1619 project, you hear Hebrew Israelites talking about this and the other thing. These people believe. If the individual don't accept, first of all, who they are, if you don't want to receive the designation or the if you don't want to be Israel, don't expect the blessings. Expect to keep getting oppressed. Anticipate life staying mediocre, not growing any further. You've reached your spiritual ceiling. If you don't want to recognize and see that you are outside of the scope of this thing called Christianity, because that can't inspire the way Yah is. Some of the people may have made a connection, but the organization is going to crumble, it's going to fall, because it's not based on truth. It's not built on truth. Bottom line, when you see, it is what it is. Why they treat us the way they treat us, and these movies depicting, they make you want to go out and just do some stuff you ain't got no business doing. But a lot of them don't even recognize how ignorant they are, and that to me that's kind of scary. But I understand it. It's like if Yahweh is absent from your life, you don't really have a connection with them. They're Christians. A lot of them. A lot of those racist, redneck, KKK members, they're Christians. They pray to Jesus. They believe in God. They go to church on Sunday. You're not racist. You believe in God. You pray to Jesus. You go to church on Saturday. But you think there's a difference. Anyway, I don't see the difference, and I ain't about to just start talking. So, know that the Most High gonna work it out. He said he is. He said he is. He said he's gonna work it out. He said he's gonna work it out, and Jeremiah chapter 3, verses 12. Starting at verse 12, go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return, thou backsliding Israel, saith Yahweh, and I will not cause my anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, saith Yahweh, and I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against Yahweh thy Elohim, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith Yahweh. Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. If these pastors ain't telling you the truth, it is telling you what sound good or what is acceptable in that particular denomination, get from underneath that pastor. They're not telling you the truth. Now you gotta know what the truth is for yourself. You gotta know what the truth is for yourself. There's a way to sing right unto a man. Sing it right. You gotta ask God to show you the truth. I thank the Most High for these stamps, for these questions, for the money that I get to Angela, for helping me get some groceries this week, for fixing my truck, for fixing me. I found out I probably had 6 more weeks before I can put some pressure on this foot, which is cool. I ain't mad. There's still some stuff I need to do that I haven't done. But continue to pray. Continue to pray for me. I wish it was more clear. I wish it was easier to understand. I wish it was easier to receive. When people listen to these broadcasts, I don't know what they be thinking. These jokers tripping. It ain't that serious. But I'm so grateful when I see an individual wake up. I ain't looking for everybody to wake up. One at a time. One at a time. Most I was constantly using my brother Beach to meet people. You know what I'm saying? You got people that some would think, oh man, that was a good guy. I don't understand why he died. Or what happened? And then you see those like, oh man, that dude right there, man, he vicious, man. I'm surprised he ain't dead. His ways on our ways, his thoughts on our thoughts. We need to change our thinking and really start looking at things from the opposite. Everything that glitter ain't gold. It's not what it is. Very seldom is it what it seems. We're talking about living in the land of our captivity. Our enemies control the media, control the food and drug industry. And you think they got your best interest in mind with this vaccine? You think they mass producing animals and vegetables and fruit because it's healthy? Then they genetically modifying stuff because it's going to benefit you? You fools. That's how we wake up. I'm wide awake. I'm tired, but I'm wide awake. Yeah, that's it. Yahweh, thank you for allowing your Ruach to be present. I just do today. I pray and ask that the words that were spoken were from you. And if I got in the way at all, clean it up. Pray and ask that people actually consider those restorative questions. What happened? How did it affect the people around you? How did it affect you? What have you been thinking about? And what can you do different? How you gonna rectify this thing? You know, we got a role to play in this too. Show us, them, the people, your people, show them what they need to see. Show them what happened. Show them what the problem has been since the very beginning and what it still is. And that's us not seeking and following after you completely and your image. Thank you for this blessing. I pray that you be with Brad, like I said in the beginning, whatever he may be having going on right now. Continue to be with the Fordham family. Live with the Vanderhoof family, Father. As well as my own family, Boyd Gillis family, the Perry Mitchell family. I pray that you be with individuals as part of our study group, Jennifer, Ruth, Candace, I believe she's in some island somewhere, protect her, keep her safe. Thank you for bringing Jennifer Son Marlin back from, I believe, Florida safely. Through Maxine. You know, we're going through individually as well as collectively. Studies have changed. You know, our eyes are opening. Things are being seen differently. I pray and ask, and I'm not misleading anybody in any way, shape, or form by sharing what I feel like you get to me. That goes for on this broadcast and anywhere else. Because I know you know the thoughts that you think towards me. And my thoughts are not evil. So I believe, like Jeremiah 29:11 say, that these thoughts are coming from you. It's about restoring. You're trying to restore us, you know, but better than we were before because we've been through it. We know now why we shouldn't do it. Our ancestors didn't know what they was really getting into by being disobedient, but we got that track record. Thank you for that. And now we see when we get back, when you allow us to be back to that restored position, now we know what we got to lose. Who wants to fight through this mess all over again? You know, for seeking after strange gods. So, yeah, I'll be with my family. Be with those seeking truth. Be with anybody who's going through anything right now. I'm pretty sure there's prayer requests that individuals may have. They may be lifting up now on the other end. Whatever the case may be, I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure there's some people sick. I'm sure there's some people going through financial struggles, or maybe they've been blessed with a lot of money and trying to figure out something to do with it. You know, show them which direction they should move in as well. Forgive us for our iniquities. Bless the studio and individuals affiliated with it. Protect us, keep us, fight in our behalf. Again, continue to remove the strong delusion and destroy those who are in opposition to us. Remove them completely. I don't know what it's going to look like on the back end. Don't know if we're ready for it. Everything's going to happen in your time. And I'm thanking in advance for everything you gotta do and all the blessings that you have waiting for those who love and appreciate your truth. Be with me as I leave the studio. I'll be with the mechanics of my truck. Be in our minds, y'all. Be in our minds. It's easy to go crazy nowadays. There's a lot of madness going on. Fortify our minds and protect us from ourselves. In Yahweh name. I mean, appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Real Talk 101 The Devil Exposed. If you don't know me, I'm Orlando Boyd. Pray for my man Brad. He was family in prayer. And may the Most High bless and keep you going into this next week. Remember to seek truth, and not the traditions of men. Shalom.
Man.